Alright everyone, welcome back. Now in today's episode we'll be taking a look at Cronos, or Cro, which is the coin used by Crypto.com, and we'll be looking at past performance and also future predictions to try to price predict the coin. Now as with any price prediction, we don't know what the future entails, but we'll be trying to do our best to look at past performance to see if that will be reflected in the future. And on top of that, I'll be showing you how much I'm holding in the coin as well. But more on that later on. And so Cronos, or Cro, is the native token of the blockchain, which is designed by Crypto.com. We have Crypto.com, which is an exchange. We also have their DeFi wallet, which allows you to safely and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, but you have to move them away from the main exchange on Crypto.com. If anyone is interested in how to achieve this, it's really simple to set up, but happy to provide in a future video. And so going back to the token, this is what is known as a utility token, and Cro is one of those coins that is tightly coupled to the exchange. So you've got Binance with the BNB token, similar with Crypto.com you've got the Cronos token. If we look at differences to that of say Ethereum, then it's easy to note that Ethereum is a lot more open source. Anyone can look at the source code and create their own products on top. But the usage of Cro is simply used within the world of Crypto.com. Crypto.com has a custom blockchain, and so they use Cro to facilitate any transactions that take place on their platform. And you are able to stake the coin to receive in the form of rewards as well, and that payment is in the form of Cro tokens. Now something to note on the screen here is the circulating supply. We can see that this is verified data from coinmarketcap.com. The current supply is over 25 billion coins. There is a fixed supply, but it's in the billions. If we compare to the likes of Bitcoin, then we have a fixed supply in the millions. And so there's a much larger supply compared to the likes of Bitcoin. Comparing to say Ethereum or say that of Dogecoin, they both have, in theory, unlimited supply. And so when we're looking at the mechanics of how a coin can increase and decrease in value, one important factor is the supply. And while there is a large supply of Cro token, it does mean that the value is capped, and so that should slightly help in our favor should we see any price movements in the future. Now as for the history, we can see the highest price point was back in 2021, pushing a price of 89 cents. That trading volume in the 24-hour period was 1.93 billion US dollars. And at the bottom of the graph here, we can see how users were buying and pushing up the demand for the coin. Now since then it's tailed off. We now have a volume trade of 8 million, so very low compared to what we saw in the past, and with a current price of 5 cents. So the mechanics of the past don't dictate the future, and so while it's tempting to say, well, if the current price is at 5 cents and if we meet the values that this coin had in the past, then just rounding up to 90 cents per coin, then we could say that this price could multiply by 19 times. But another way to look at this is when you look at the actual value, so the transactions performed on Crypto.com and using the Cro token to validate these transactions, there's a more interesting use case compared to the likes of Dogecoin, which has a much greater circulating supply to that of Cro, and more can be generated in the future. But the price point is slightly higher to that of Cro currently, but it does have a trading volume that is almost 10 times that of Cro. Now unfortunately the movement is quite stagnated. We have low numbers of volume and the price is struggling to reach the 6 cents mark. If we take a look at ambcrypto.com, this is an AI bot which is by no means accurate and can sometimes show positive prices when there's a small amount of historical data. But if we look down at the different years and the potential average low and high price values, we can see that in 2022 we had an average price of 0.058. They've worked out the lowest and highest ranges. But we can see that for 2023 it is predicting to have a low price of 0.7 and a high price of $1 with an average price of 89 cents. Now this is looking a little bit too positive in my opinion. You see as the years increase, the values are steadily increasing as well. And so for me, I don't actually agree that these values will be met. Something would have to change quite drastically over the course of the next few months to see values anywhere near. But even if this coin can push to say 10 cents mark, or even if it pushes to the 7 cents mark, there is a rebound opportunity. And no matter how speculative this is, you can see on my end I have put money into Crow. My price entry point I believe was around 7 cents, and I've actually staked and have been receiving in the form of Crow rewards, which is around 38 of the tokens each week. The way this works is that you are locked into a contract for a set period of time. The more you stake, the higher the reward and the higher the percentage, with other additional benefits as well. But to be fully transparent, I've put money into this coin. As I say, highly speculative, but there's always the option of this coin increasing, and of course the reverse is true as well. There's been such a pullback in this coin. This is one of those speculative moves that I'm interested in seeing how this performs. So we can see that the past year performance has been terrible, minus 90%. That's just of the coin itself. But the goal here is that once I'm locked out of the contract, which is in 132 days from now, with a bit of luck this coin may start pushing upwards. But in the meantime, I'm receiving 4% in Crow stake rewards. So let me know in the comments below, do you think this coin can push back up to say the 10-cent mark or even higher, or do you think there's more room for this coin to drop down? Thanks for all of those who have subscribed. I post new videos every week. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the content, and with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.